Well, hello, everyone. There we go. I'll tell you what, I was just listening to some It's a Beautiful Day. I don't know if many of you remember the group from San Francisco, but they had a good album out, White Bird. They had one previous to that, and The Day of the Dolphin. Check it out. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? What a great day this is. Hello there, Franny. How are you doing? Sabrina, Marion, hello, Lois, Warrior Queen. Good to see you. Lost in Space. What's up? David Barry, how are you doing, my friend? Got your emails. I believe that's correct. Yes. David Castle, hello. Jill, greetings. Infinite Quarters, I love it. How are you doing? Jerry, good to see you, my friend. Ryan, hello. Knowledge Seeker, aren't we all? Pyramid 7, I like that. Jared, Martin, good to see you. Hadley, how you doing? Um, well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Appreciate that. Dreamosaurus. I like that from Canada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Robin, good to see you as well. Light Bear, greetings. Um, you do it, Yahweh. Good to see you. Dale, hello. Sandy Scott, good to see you. Sherry, hello. Pamela Vogel, good to see you. Thomas, hello. Marta, hello. Man, lots of people here, eh? Well, listen, folks, I really put you onto some of these good bands. A Beautiful Day was a good group. I think that these bands, in a lot of ways, I look back, I was invoking favor. In fact, let me just do that right now. As I wrote today in the invocation, may there be abundant favor of every circumstance in your life be to your advantage. May you always be the head and not the tail. May you always come out above and not beneath. And may prosperity make its abode in your abode, and that complete restoration be granted to you. Nothing missing, nothing broken. And I carry that from years, decades of hardcore indoctrination. I mean, I willingly submitted myself to it, as we all do. That's why religions are, you know. Uh, would love to read the shirt. Okay, the shirt is Mr. Natural. We are on the quest to the unknown. So we keep on trucking, and man, we look around and we go, what a strange trip it's been. So, yeah. Um, the thing about it is, all of us who come out of religion, we all went there willingly. And, sometimes, roller coaster ride can be both fun and scare the piss out of you, in which I have seen that happen. Not to me, but I have, fortunately, was at the front. But anyway, I digress. So um, you have to begin to see that the illusion is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And we're immersed into this illusion. And um, that's true, Franny. Absolutely. Hello, Al. How are you doing? I'll say hello to more people coming in here. Monday Moon, how are you? 42, welcome. Light Bear, good to see you. Sherry, how good to see you, my dear. Maria, Truth Seeker, how are you doing? Emperor Rex, how are you doing, my friend? And Autumn, good to see you. Ron, Nate, wow, lots of people. Sylvia, Vicky, wow. Robin Hill, good to see you. Candy, I like that. Candy Girl Jim, that's good. Sandy Scott, hello again. Rob, good to see you, my friend. And Robert, boy, there's lots of people. So, got some letters from Source that I think are going to be so timely. We're going to really start getting into morals and dogma. The more I thought about it, got a lot of feedback from y'all, and it's overwhelming. And I'll just sum up the enthusiasm of the emails. It's like, well, if they kept it hidden all this time, it must be something we should learn. And I agree. It's interesting knowledge when you think about it, particularly in the journey we're going to be going down. As I began to read some of the book, it occurred to me that the elite, they understand some hidden principles, secret knowledge. The thing I found about the secret knowledge is that some of it is right in front of us. We just don't see it. Oh, how was that for Captain Kirk? We just don't see it. So anyway, but once you kind of get the blinders off, you know, the thing with racehorses, they always put the blinders on to keep them uh, solely focused. And when you begin to get the full peripheral vision, you go, wow, you know, you can eat a cherry pie and never think about how it's made. So really, who is the superior in that situation? Well, I would say it would be the one who knew how to make the cherry pie, who had the ingredients, the magic, so to speak. That can be any pie. I like cherry pie. But yeah, so I'm going to get some tea here. Excuse me right there. Uh, cheers, everyone. Boy, sometimes what I have found, whether it's an illusion or not, I don't know, is taste. Um, I realize that we all don't have the same taste. We have similar taste. And as noted by some of the foods our species eats around the world. But I don't know, there's something about cinnamon and something about nutmeg and cloves and, you know, the other stuff that's in there. So anyway, uh, uh, yeah. All right. So let's get on to see what Source had to say for us today. Give me 1 second as I go over and actually pull it up. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Bandstand. All right, let me get out of here, folks. So I'm pulling something up at the same time, getting it ready. And there we go. So now you can see what I can see. All right, got this. These letters have been interesting. Everyone likes them, and they're in PDF form. We thank Consciously Aware for this, Joshua. Perspective. We come to you today in order to spread a tidbit of knowledge that is not being spread by too many people today. Today, there instead of people trying to get you to view things from your own perspective, everyone seems to try to get you to view everything from their perspective. They try to get you to believe what they believe. No one wants to try and understand the fact that there are no two people on this planet that believe the exact same thing. There are no two people on this earth that have the exact same knowledge. There are no two people on this earth that visually see things in the exact same way. No two people that think the exact same thoughts. You see, every single human that has ever walked this planet that you live on has walked this planet through its own perspective of life as they see it. There are no two people that can ever be in the exact same point on earth at the exact same time in existence. At no time in the existence of this planet has any human being ever lived in the same perspective as you. At no time has this planet passed over the same exact spot in existence as it is currently in at this very moment, and will never pass this spot again. Your perspective at this moment will never be the same as your perspective in this exact moment. You see, I can't catch the moment. I can speak the moment. You cannot, experience the moment. But the moment is ever elusive as much as it's ever present. Stop arguing with people because you think you have to be right. Remember that your right and wrong are only right or wrong to you. Boy, this is some truth here. Someone else may see your wrong as their right, and their wrong, you're right. Sure, they're not going to be people that agree with you as to what is right and wrong, but not on everything. Why do you accept that just because someone has a college education that they know more than you? Why do you let people tell you that your perception or your perspective on something is wrong? It is your perception, not theirs. You are different people living different lives for different purposes. Just remember, as we have told you before, they are you and you are they. You are here to learn all that you can from yourself at a different point in space and time. Like we said, you will never cross this point in time again. So you need to be every you are as every person you are when you are in order to access the knowledge of the other points in space and time that you are passing by. I get it. It's kind of what memories are, folks. They're points in time. As you pass them in your current life, you miss out on the knowledge that is just out of your reach. However, that person that is sitting next to you in the car, who is also you, is collecting it without even knowing it. The person in the car behind you is collecting even more of what you missed because they are in a different point in space and time than you are. Collectively, you will eventually collect it all. You will eventually become one with that is. Can you see this? I mean, in a spatial grid, if you looked at this in a 3D grid, you could see what they're saying here. None of us share the same space. None of us occupy the same space, time, in place. It's interesting when you think about it, how deep this really does go. Do you comprehend that even though you are all part of the one, you are all different aspects of that one? Do you realize that with the right training and right practice, you can do anything that you can imagine and can think of? Do you realize that you will never have the same experience as someone else? Every event, every thought, everything that you feel or see will never be the same as someone else. You will always be experiencing everything from a different perspective than they are, just because you will never be in the same point in time as they are. In your 3D reality, it is physically impossible for two people to have the same exact experience. So true. We hope that this resonates with you and that you can understand the message that we are trying to convey. We love you all and look forward to seeing you again. You know what I got to say about that? Far out. I mean, seriously. I was remembering a time when I used to drop a lot of LSD, and a lot of my friends were 4, 5 years older than I was. I was just out on the street much earlier than most. But anyway, a lot of them were going to the University of Houston, and I would just hang out with them. A lot of them would have class, and I'd go to class with them. Many times tripping, tripping. And I was fortunate because a lot of them were liberal arts majors and going into philosophy. A lot of them were going into psychology. But you see these truths resonate over and over and over again. And we don't stop and think, I'm going to be doing a program that we're really actually living in a 4 dimension reality. But again, it's part of the illusion. And this is deep. It's like the perspective of, there have been a number of movies that have done it. Interstellar is one. There have been others where the director did an excellent job in bringing out how time is not on a vertical plane. It's not linear. I mean, it messes our physics up if it's not. But in theoretical physics, time, X, Y, Z, etc. So there's one more, channeling. I thought this one was really cool, folks. Channeling. Good afternoon, children. We have a short message for you today. A message that makes us laugh. Why do some of you have such a hard time believing in channeling? Do you not know that every individual thought you have is channeling? Every thought that you have that goes against what you are taught in your human existence. Every question that you have that has not been asked, every thought that you have that has not been thought, it's all channeling. Where do you think these thoughts come from? I ask you this. If you make a comment, and if you truly have watched this, tell me where you think your thoughts originate from. If I was to do a man on the street interview, right, with the camera and the whole bit, and go downtown Denver right now on the 16th Street Mall and just do a man and woman interview and say, Madam, where does your thoughts originate from? You probably wouldn't get one serious answer. Most would just blow it off. So I continue. Where do you think these thoughts come from? You were not taught them. You did not know them. So where did they come from? I will give you one guess, my children. They come from us. Well, that went down the wrong pipe. Oh, mercy. Yeah, drinking tea by way of breathing, not recommended. Now you have to take another one to get it. Anyway, every one of you does it. You just don't realize what you do. No one has ever told you this. No one has ever asked you the question as to where these things come from. They come from us. They come from you in a different existence. They are all messages being delivered to you so that you can use it to better yourself and to help to better the other versions of you that are around you. Don't ignore these thoughts. Don't think that you are going crazy or tell anyone else they are crazy for having these thoughts. Instead, embrace these thoughts, embrace these visions that we show you, and share them with everyone that you can. My dreams, folks, have been becoming very intense. Um, I'm almost physically tired. The dreams are becoming, wow, I mean, I know they're a dream. I wake back up in a conscious state, but I'm telling you, they are like playing the loop. Please, children, remember what we have taught you. Remember that the only one that you are hurting is yourself. These messages, whether you are reading them or we are sending them to you in the form of thought, need not be ignored. Pay attention to them. We have been trying for a very long time to get you all to listen. Instead, when people would stand up and challenge something because of a message we gave them, you persecuted them, killed them, threw them in a psych ward, or just ignored them because they went against what you are taught by other human beings. As humans, you want to believe only what other humans who you place above yourself tell you. Boy, this is so profound and what this whole um, show is focused in on. Do you not see the problem with this? Well, the multitude problems with this. Let's touch base with the first one. Why do you believe what another human tells you? Especially if in your heart you know it is not right. Hmm. How many of us? How many of us? You will believe a human that tells you that you are sick and dying, but you won't listen to your own body. Why? Are you not directly attached to your body? Can that doctor feel anything that you are feeling? No, they can't. So why do you listen to them and not your body, which feels everything? Don't forget terms like cancer, flu, viruses, and other terms you can think of are all made up by humans in an attempt to make sense of something that they do not understand. If someone tells you that you have cancer and you choose to believe it, then your body and DNA listen to it and manifest what it is that you think you have. If you just listen to your body and what is telling you, things will work more like they were designed to work. Your body is designed to tell you when something is out of balance. If you listen to it, it will tell you how to rebalance it. You know these cravings that you have for certain foods. Listen to them. That is your body talking to you, telling you what you need at the point in time to balance it out. Let me just digress on this point right here. Um, I like chocolate. I am a connoisseur. When I travel, I always try to find if they have local chocolatiers. I just enjoy chocolate. But the interesting thing about chocolate is that um, the organic kind, not the kind that the Russians put the cow blood in, but you know that 70%. You know what I'm talking about? That coca, yeah. Anyway, um, it's a great source of magnesium and other things. It's amazing, and you have to take it in, in balance. You don't want to get out to the point where you know out of you get the point. Children, all we are trying to tell you is to listen more to yourself. listen to your body, listen to your heart, listen to the messages that you receive. Stop believing everything that you hear just because someone is supposed to be an expert. Just because someone has a degree does not mean they are any better or know any more than anyone else. They were just willing to pay money to learn what the other humans wanted them to learn as a way to control their thoughts. A lot of truth to this. You just need to start listening to yourself. I'm not saying don't listen to other people at all. By all means, listen to them, for they are you and they are trying to teach you something. Just don't accept all that they tell you. Only accept as the truth the things that your heart tells you are true. Mm. If there is any hesitation in your heart when you hear something, then don't listen to it. But we urge you to be careful here. For you see, there are times where you think it is your heart that is telling you this isn't right, when really it is your mind. When we say listen to your heart, we quite literally mean listen to your heart. Whoa, that's profound. How many of you actually listen to your heart? Have you ever tried that therapy? Get it to where there's complete silence, that all you can hear is your heartbeat, and start focusing in on your heartbeat. Begin to get your thinking and your rhythm in the rhythm of your heartbeat and see what you can begin to do. When you know you shouldn't do something or that something isn't right, your heart rate speeds up. When your heart rate knows that you are doing what needs to be done, it slows down. Do not let your brain make the choice. One of the best examples that we can give you here is global warming. Well, nothing controversial about that. Most of you know that this term and what it's supposed to represent is absolutely absurd. Your mother is simply recalibrating herself. She does it every so many thousands of years. She is not being harmed by the things that humans do. She can counteract them all. The only ones that are affected by these things are you. You're harming yourself. Seriously, with the size of a human, or even the size of all humans combined together, do you think you can truly harm your mother? Do you not realize that if your mother wanted to, she can just hit the reset button, wipe out all of you like you never existed? Done that. Sure, you can kill off all the plants and all the animals. You can kill off all of the humans and evaporate all the water, but your mother can never be killed by humans. Yes, okay, I know. Your mother wants me to let you know that you are hurting her, just not in a physical sense. Boy, we've heard this before, talking with the planets. You are hurting her because you are hurting yourselves. You are hurting her spirit because she loves you so much and doesn't want to see you putting yourself through all of the pain that you do. Your mother does not need the planet to live. She chooses to be the planet in order to help you become what you are supposed to become. Without your mother taking care of the planet and recalibrating it, the planet would already be gone. Your mother is what keeps it alive. We know that we get off topic a bit. There are at the end, but it was important for you to hear. This is our message for today. We love you all so very much. We will be in touch again soon. Wow. Far out. That's all I've got to say. Just far out. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's just so cool. And I just read them as they come. And it's What's this? I'm trying to read something here. I don't know what's going on. See, that's the problem when you're like focusing on the road. So everyone on the chat room, I hope everything is good. So Source seems to be talking to us. And, deep thinkers, we all think. I don't know specifically what you think, but we can seem to be in tuned into a thought, a channel. Um, so I see things, and I see so often now how illusions are being created through the media. I don't think any human is doing it. I think there is a higher intelligence, whether it be good, whether it be bad, who knows? In the law of hermetics, we understand, everything can be balanced. Anyway, polarity, it's called. That's the principle of polarity. But I see it. And others see it as well. We're consciously aware that there is an illusion being painted. Stories, individuals, situations, precept upon precept, construct upon construct. They are the ones who plant the seed. We are the creators that bring it about. Remember, there's a lot of us. That's a lot of psychic energy. And when they begin to plant pictures, stories, regardless of its truth or not, it's irrelevant. Because again, we bring it to pass. I put a presentation together, as I like to do, because it's just so cool. In the 70s, there was a group called Styx, saw them. They had an album called The Grand Illusion. And the whole theme of the album was just that this is a grand illusion. And the question for today is your truth real or illusion? I mean, we talk here in philosophy. What is truth? How do you define truth? By whose truth? By what measure of what truth? Who constructed the truth? Is it real or is it an illusion? And I think by the time we get finished with this PowerPoint presentation, it's really difficult to determine. So illusion, it's a noun. It's a thing that is or is likely to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by the senses. Yesterday I showed you what the 5 senses are. 2 are electrical, 3 are chemical. Synonyms: mirage, hallucination, apparition, phantom, vision, specter, fantasy, figment of the imagination, will o' the wisp, by the way, it's a great song by Leon Russell, and trick of the light, ignis fatuus. A deceptive appearance or impression. A deceptive appearance or impression. Isn't it interesting? We use these words so interchangeably. Impression. What's being impressed? It's being impressed on our minds. Synonyms for this: appearance, impression, imitation, semblance, pretense, sham. More. A false idea or belief. Again, who determines what is false and what is truth? Noun, illusion. the plural noun, illusions, synonyms, delusions, misapprehensions, misconception, deception, false impression, mistaken impression, fantasy, dream, chimera, fools, paradise, self-destruction, castles in the air. Thank you. Excuse me. Lost the name right quick. I'll think of it here again. Castles in Spain, fallacy, etc., etc. So these are the truths that I learned almost over 50 years. And if you take them out of the context from which they were taught, they're powerful. Are they truths? According to your faith, be it so in your life. Not someone else's faith, not God's faith, or whatever you want to classify it, according to your faith. Here's another one. As a man believes in his heart, so he is. You know, I used to teach sales. And there were a couple people, once we put them through the profiling test, they were not suited for sales. And the primary reason for that was because they didn't believe it themselves. Many of them were attracted to sales because these were very high paying positions, 6 figures back in the day. And many people were drawn to that, but my job was to flush them out. And it's because the top producers always believe in themselves. Now, they may have doubts in other areas, but as to themselves, no, they don't have a problem with it. Here's another one. All things are possible to those who can believe. All things are possible to those who can believe. We see these remarkable feats. People that society would say was highly disadvantaged, but excel. This is one of the most important fundamental truths. I say principles. Principles are different than truths. As a person thinks, so they are. Much akin to as a man believes in his heart, so he is. As a person thinks, so they are. And this covers a full gamut. I'm a bad mother. I'm a bad parent. I'm a bad sibling, etc. You can just go through bad, 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 bad. Lastly, if you could but believe. I studied military history, love World War II history. And in the battles, decisive battles, overwhelming odds, you read time and time again that these people, some soldiers, even civilians, suddenly had it in it was their heart. They knew it above the mind, the logic, that they were going to be all right. They were not going to get so much as a scratch. So often that has been the case in these stories. So are these truths or illusions? Is an illusion, isn't it a belief? If I believe in that illusion long enough, I can make that illusion become reality. And if it can become a reality, then it can become a truth. And all not are truths that are taught merely because they have been taught as truths by others who we cannot question. We cannot examine what their motives was, what their thoughts were. And if it was an illusion to them, that has now become truth, then our truths are nothing more than illusions. It's all designed to get two things going here. Belief, faith, calling those things that be not as though they are. To get all in your head. Who's renting the penthouse out? If you got problems with individuals, you've got grudges, you hate them, you're going to get vengeance, you want to get back at them at your job, whatever. Remember, they're renting your penthouse for free. I don't let anyone up there unless they're paying. So much of our reality is predicated by sight, and then by what we can feel, and then what we can then begin to determine what is real or an illusion. The problem is, even when you think, staring at this, turn your eyes away and turn your eyes back in, and you can see how a static picture begins to turn. If you can understand this one truth, you will be ahead of virtually 95% of the general populace. All media is an illusion. All politics is an illusion. All religions are illusions. All beliefs are illusions. They are generated from someone else that none of us can go back and actually validate, verify, authenticate. It's because we've been told they are truths. Oh, they'll go to great lengths to show you that it is the truth, the only truth. But by whose truth? Who said it was truth? If you can't question the person who's making the statement, then all it is an opinion or an illusion. You see, when you don't have clarity of thought, illusions become even more real. It's amazing how many truths have been born out of chaos. But as you stare at this one, again, keep your eye on the ball and just simply turn your head a little bit, and you will begin to see, as you look back, it slowly but surely begins to change. Your spatial perception begins to tell you everything about yourself. And it's easily to see how minds are manipulated, how they can begin to be altered, how they can begin to have emotions invoked, and how they can begin to bring on certain reactions. The optical nerve does the most amazing things to every part of the body. It's hard to begin to get spatial awareness when your brain is trying to reconcile a reality, an illusion, or your brain sees this as truth. It knows that it's difficult. It knows that, in fact, it's seeing an illusion, but your brain doesn't think that away. It merely begins to compile the images, and from there, thoughts begin to be generated by the image of what would appear to be infinity. But kid you not, no matter how you look at this, no matter how time you try to turn away from it, it still continues to spin, whether your optical nerve is observing it or not. Even your peripheral vision will begin to see. And to some people, this really becomes disturbing. It can actually invoke sometimes headaches. It can begin to have different reactions. But if you stare and you begin to move your eye around the picture itself, you begin to see how 3D is merely an illusion. Many times you have seen this in the shows of being able to hypnotize someone. If you stare and you concentrate, it can become more than just an illusion. It can become something greater than what your brain is prepared to do. And the missing pieces is where your brain begins to fill it in. Do you see what this pictures truly are? Illusion is truth. Truth can be an illusion. How many white dots do you see? How many black dots do you see? Start counting them. Start trying to count the white dots and see how many times the black dots become overriding. Many people believe that we're actually, in fact, nothing more than a toroidal field. If you watch this long enough, the bottom ring will eventually become the outer ring. It's hard to see the deception of what is and what is not. Where is her face? See how your brain begins to do this. So is your truth real or is it an illusion? It's hard things, particularly if you want to begin to think, well, my purpose in life is to do what then? What is the purpose for the next life to be coming? What you think is real is in fact real. And that begins to get really real when you begin to think that 7+ billion people, do you see why it's so necessary to control you? Do you see why free thought is so dangerous? Because if you start to have 7+ billion people who are actually free thinkers, the matrix is broken. The danger of that is, and you can quote me on this, is that that would probably give birth to something we can't even begin to imagine. When people realize just how much they can think reality into reality, it gets definitely interesting. So this kind of all ties into what we're going to be studying on morals and dogma. I think what you're going to find out is that as we begin to delve into this, that the elite, this was the secret knowledge that I think they've held for thousands of years. And now they were never quite prepared for the reality of the digital age. The digital age is something that's new to our species. You see governments trying to deal with it all around. And I read recently in Advertising Age that the problem with music now is that originators, those who write the lyrics, and then subsequently the rhythms, is that, and I quote, it's very difficult to find something new. Their biggest concerns are being sued for copyright infringements. Stanzas, word phrases. Yeah, it's getting crazy. Well, I'll tell you, consciously aware, whoa, if that happens. So let's get right into the heart of this. Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. We're going to be reading actually from the one that was written. It's the much more in-depth version, but this one's good because it helps establish a little background. So I know people don't like this. I mean, well, let me just say, some people have a very difficult time with this. So here we have a construct today, ladies and gentlemen. In our societies, in our world systems of both governments, thoughts, beliefs, we live in a contradiction of illusions. In the Christian religion, we are taught that Lucifer and Satan is the ruler of hell, the god of darkness, etc. But yet Lucifer literally translates the light bearer. Pike asked the question, Lucifer, the light bearer? Strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness. All of you theologians, if you listen to me, I'm shocked that if you do, and even those that hold the Christian belief and the fear of hell, it doesn't exist, folks. It's a control matrix. But explain to me and everyone else, how can you have a God of darkness who has the name the light bearer? How do you rationalize that paradigm? You give Lucifer the name, the son of the morning, which only happens to also represent the Savior, the Messiah. Is it he who bears the light and with its splendors intolerably blinds feeble, sensual, and selfish souls? Blinded by the light bearer. So are you telling us then, all the religions of the world, that the very darkness is in fact the very light? Is that why the very elite worship Lucifer and have known this? They don't worship this God that the world worships. They know. Again, if you're going to want to make a comment, answer the question. Why is one given the name the light bearer, yet you're saying that this is the God of the spirit of darkness? I have asked you many times this question. Show me where it has ever been recorded Lucifer commanded one human to harm another human. You've had the name hijacked by fanatics. They have distorted the image, the name, Satanists, Luciferians, all made up crap. It's designed to throw you off. Again, answer the question. You see, this is why most never, ever even get to the point where they can see the gate of initiation. But we're going to learn this today. We're going to get into this and begin to see why you have right before us, before the world, this conundrum. I have shown you in hours and hours of previous programming where it is Lucifer. How can he be the light bearer and be dark? So let's talk about who is Albert Pike. He was born December 29th, 1809, was the oldest of 6 children, born in Benjamin and to Sarah Andrews Pike. Pike was raised in a Christian home and attended an Episcopal church, the liberal side of Christianity. I had more in my youth. Woo! Anyway, we love the libertarians. Pike passed the entrance examination at Harvard College when he was 15 years old, very bright student, but could not attend because he had no funds. After traveling as far west as Santa Fe, Pike settled in Arkansas, where he worked as an editor of a newspaper before being admitted to the bar. So he became a lawyer. In Arkansas, he met Mary Ann Hamilton and married her on November 28th, 1834. To this union were born 11 children. He was 41 years old when he applied for admission in the Western Star Lodge number 2 in Little Rock, Arkansas. In 1850, active in the Grand Lodge of Arkansas, Pike took the 10 degrees of the York Rite from 1850 to 1853. He received the 29 degrees of the Scottish Rite in March 1853 from Albert Gatlin Mackey in Charleston, South Carolina. The Scottish Rite had been introduced in the United States in 1783. Charleston was the location of the first Supreme Council, which governed the Scottish Rite in the United States until a Northern Supreme Council was established in New York City in 1813. The boundary between the Southern and Northern jurisdictions, still recognized today, was firmly established in 1828. Mackey invited Pike to join the Supreme Council for the Southern jurisdiction in 1858 in Charleston, and he became the Grand Commander of the Supreme Council the following year. Pike held that office until his death, while supporting himself in various occupations, such as editor of the Memphis Daily Appeal from February 1867 to September 1868, as well as his law practice. Pike later opened a law office in Washington, D.C., and argued a number of cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. However, Pike was impoverished by the Civil War and remained so much of his life, often borrowing money for basic living expenses from the Supreme Council before the council voted him an annuity in 1879 of $1,200 a year for the remainder of his life. He died on April 2nd, 1892 in Washington, D.C. Realizing that a revision of the ritual was necessary if Scottish Rite Freemasonry were to survive, Mackey encouraged Pike to revise the ritual to produce a standard ritual for use in all states in the Southern jurisdiction. Remember, folks, rituals. Revisions began in 1855, and after some changes, the Supreme Council endorsed Pike's revision in 1861. Minor changes were made in 2 degrees in 1873 after the York Rite bodies in Missouri objected to the 29th and 30 degrees revealed secrets of the York Rite. Folks, when they say revealed secrets, they mean it. I don't even know if this is all of it. Who knows? Excuse me. Pike is best known for his major work, Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, published in 1871. Morals and Dogma should not be confused with Pike's revision of the Scottish Rite ritual. They are separate works. Walter Lee Brown writes that Pike intended it, Morals and Dogma, to be a supplement to the great connected system of moral, religious, and philosophical instruction that he had developed in his revision of Scottish ritual. Morals and Dogma was traditionally given to the candidate upon his receipt of the 14th degree of the Scottish Rite. This practice was stopped in 1974. Morals and Dogma has not been given to candidates since 1974. A Bridge to Light by Rex R. Hutchins is provided to candidates today. Hutchins laments that Morals and Dogma is read by so few Masons. A Bridge to Light was written to be a bridge between the ceremonies of the degrees and their lectures in Morals and Dogma. And we'll break off there for today, but I find this fascinating. And my quest is knowledge. You know, I didn't grow up rich, didn't have a chance to finish school. Was on my own when I was 15. I learned everything that I learned from society on the street. And, you know, think about it. Pike couldn't make it to Harvard. He didn't have the money. Today, knowledge cost our children so much money, they're all in debt to gain knowledge that is really not knowledge. So there we go, folks. This is going to be a fascinating read. Those of us who stick with it, and it's going to be over an extended period of time. It's an in-depth book. But imagine it's going to be like the Liber Lilith. I've gotten so many complimentary emails from all over the world, people that have read the book. Now it's intense in places, but every one of them have come back and said that they have found it to be eye-opening, a different perspective. So let's find out what the secrets were. I mean, if they're not even reading the book today, well, that may give us some advantage. Who knows? Well, yeah, another hour is gone. I'm looking out there going, what? It has. This is far out, folks. We'll continue. And by the way, we haven't finished the alien interview. I've kind of done it purposely because I wanted to see, when we come at this from the wagon spoke approach and come back to the hub of what Ariel had to say, it may help shed some light on some things. And we'll also see how much validity or not. Thank you, Hadley. Jerry says, enlighten me. I stuck my finger in a light socket, not in the way that you would think. And I'll tell you, that enlightened me for a moment. Anyway, well, folks, be good to yourself. I keep telling you this. And listen, I tell myself this all the time. Learn to love yourself. Quit being your own accuser. We've got to stop that. If we learn to stop accusing ourselves, we will stop accusing others. We won't find faults in others because we realize the very things that we often point out of the faults of others are the very ones that we don't want to recognize. Anyone ever have that happen? Raise your hand. Yes, it's true. Folks, I appreciate you. Y'all are just so beautiful. So I look forward to the day when we all can just, shake hands, hug, and kind of just do a happy dance. And y'all are the best. I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to be a part of your reality. And you certainly have made mine more enriched. So that's kind of far out. Anyway, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, folks. Y'all crack me up, man. All right. Be good to yourselves. Love yourselves, and then love the one you're with. Thank you, Stephen Stills. That's all I got to say. All right, folks. Bye-bye.